Well, hi, everybody. This is Dear Mama Sal, and welcome to the show. Today, we're important, and we're going to be getting onto that in a little while. But before we start our program, what we could do is just do a little bit of housekeeping, some catch up. And so just bear with us while we acknowledge some of our viewers. And that is what we're all about. So, first of all, I wanted to give a big heads up to Erin. And hi, Kerry. Good to see you. Thank you. Are you willing to play admin for me today, Kerry? Jody is at a doctor's appointment, and so she won't be able to be my eyes and ears here. All right. So, oh, bless you. Thank you, Kerry. I appreciate that. All right. So I just wanted to say that Erin had some good news this week. So we are really happy to hear that. Her liver numbers, I think it's her liver, right, that she's having a problem with. They actually have stabilized. And if they're still good in a couple of weeks, she's going to be able to start getting less and less prednisone. And we're delighted to hear that because that's really a big step forward for her. Lauren had a really tough week this week. Yeah. She had a week where her mother and her sister were all in hospital, in two different hospitals, but they were all in hospital. Can you believe that? The good news is her sister has been released. She passed some kidney stones, I believe, so we know how painful that is. If anybody's done it, I have. And my full sympathy goes to anybody who passes the very odd kidney stone. And they managed to zap a few others, I believe. So that is awesome. And Lauren, how frustrating can this be? She's been waiting for a particular bit of medical equipment so she can go home. And apparently somebody made the decision, some well-to-do person in terms of their mind, made the decision that she probably didn't want to go home yet because her mum was in hospital, so they didn't bother to do the order. Hi, Charlotte. Oh, Charlotte's busy telling me that she did her first yoga session for a long time. Yeah, you find you've got muscles you didn't know you had. Am I right? Now, do you know how to find out? It's really quite funny, Charlotte, because I found out today if you really want to know how many muscles get used when you're running, Charlotte, hold a bottle like this, your water bottle, and just shake it and see how many muscles move. Actually, when I was standing, I was absolutely amazed how many muscles just doing this uses. And then I wonder if it increases your heart rate. And do you know it does? So if you don't feel like exercising, but you want to get the heart pumping, how about that? You know me. Any way to get away from doing exercise. Yeah, you needed to stretch, right? And I can feel that. Yes, and in the wind you engage your core. Yes, and that's really what it's all about, isn't it? Is getting that core strength in. All right, so that's good. Where was I? Jody, as I said, is off to the hospital to get some. Not hospital. She went off to the doctor today. I think it's just an administrative thing for her today. But she's a real trooper. I can't tell you how much. Kerry, congratulations. Kerry applied for a new job and got it. So good for you, Kerry. I'm very proud of you. Have you started already? So, and I'm not sure, I don't have any update on Becca this week. So I believe that she was getting doing something to help herself, getting some help. So that was great. Oh, Kerry starts on Wednesday. So best of luck. And I try and explain it to Dora, but she really won't understand. But how's her hip, by the way? For those of you who don't know, Kerry's dog Dora has a arthritis in her hips. So I just wondered how that's going along. For those of you who may be ghosting, and we always welcome ghosters, welcome. And feel free to continue. We just love it. If you would like to know when we're going to be doing our broadcasts, please subscribe, both here by clicking the bell, and that will tell you when I'm about to go live. But also, I also give up warnings on Twitter and on Facebook. So those are the two things really I would recommend you just follow, just so that you can get notifications. Right. So, congrats. So, Kerry, as I said, on her new job. For those of you who understand the value of this, Jody got her latte foamer today. Hi there, Linda. How you doing? You know, I've got this thing that makes my foam on my lattes. Well, she got hers this week, and so she's a happy camper now. It's amazing how different coffee tastes when you have foam on top of it. I'm going to give myself a bit of congrats this week because I did some serious research this week, and you'll be getting video on that. Well, you probably have had one, but I've got 2 more videos that are about to go up. One was about the research I did on camping sites, full-time camping sites, just about in the States. And then I did a trip to a big rig facility. So those 2 vlogs are going to come up in the next 24 hours, I would think. And if you want to know, congratulations to me. The one on the big rigs, I had to redo it 6 times. I don't know why it had a glitch in it, but it did. And so you must know that I really wanted to get that particular vlog up because I did that 6 times. And by the way, I also wanted to give kudos to Beth because she apparently has a new job as well, I believe. Who is it? Oh, and also on Lauren, she lost about 3 pounds of weight in the last week. And when you think that she's basically confined in a wheelchair, that takes a lot of work. So that's a lot of controlling your food. So congratulations to Lauren all around. I wondered if anybody, just before we start the actual subject, I wondered whether anybody needs any support on doing anything this week. I definitely need some support in getting some boxes packed. So my goal is to do at least 1 box a day. That would be 7 boxes more. And quite honestly, 7 boxes more would nearly do it. And, you know, it would take me a long way to getting clear. And, you know, if I actually do 1 box, I'll probably do 2. That's the interesting thing that I found. It's a bit like exercise. The challenge of exercise is getting out of the door. The challenge with downsizing is actually packing 1 box. If you can pack 1, you're normally in a zone then, and it's easy to pack the second one. So nobody has anything that they want to accomplish this week? Just me? All right. That works for me. All right, so I'm going to just put in a time check here for 8 minutes and 8.5 minutes. And I just wanted to make sure that you all know, if in case anybody's ghosting and doesn't know me very well, I'm not a doctor or a medical professional of any sort. The views you're about to hear are those of me as a human being who's lived a bit of a life. So just want to make sure you understand that. So today's subject is, why are affirmations important? Anybody know? I wanted to tell you that, do you have a stab at this one, if you will? How many thoughts do you think we have in a day? You know, how many times do you think a thought runs through your mind? And if in a day is too difficult for you, what about in a minute? And what do you think? How many thoughts do you think run through your mind? Kerry says she has several. Okay. The research says, Kerry, just so that you know, that we have between 150 and 300 thoughts a minute. Isn't that amazing? So that's up to 45,000 to 51,000 in a day. Now, the reason I wanted to touch this subject is, how many of those thoughts do you think are negative? What percentage would you say? Thinking about your own thoughts, what percentage of your thoughts are negative? And that is something that you need to be really aware of, because um, about 1%, Kerry says. Kerry, the research has said that for most people, it's as high as 80%. And I believe that. So if you only think that yours are about 1%, then you must be doing affirmations in a big way, whether you realize it or not. So that is awesome. Linda, I keep thinking, that your affirmation rate must have really increased for you to have made these successful strides that you have over the last year, because there's no way you could do all the changes that you've done if you didn't change your thinking. So I wanted to just give you. Oh, she's not here at the moment. Okay, so but I really did want to give Linda kudos for that, because it's no doubt about it. You can't do it without a lot of important changes to your thinking. So the reason we need affirmations is to balance out the negativity. Does that make sense? We need daily affirmations, and in fact, we need hourly affirmations. And if we're smart, probably almost changing affirmations by the minute. I try very hard. I say try. I succeed most of the time, maybe most of the time, that every time I can feel a negative thought, and I realize that some of them I am not even aware of, but every time I'm aware of a negative thought, I try very hard to put the yes, but da 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 da, and put the positive spin on it. I don't know if any of you do that, because it really does help change your thinking. All right, so what I'm going to do is, and you can do this in your own mind or you can participate, it's up to you. We're going to be doing the following. I'm going to read an affirmation, and what I'd like you to do is to actually be aware of what your mind tells you in response to the affirmation. And I would like to say, be honest to yourself, even if you don't discuss it openly. And you do know that after the broadcast, all the chat feed gets stopped. So, but it's important for you to understand how your mind processes positive information. And please be honest, because it's not a competition. I do this as a learning process, and I need it as much as you do. And so just be aware of what's going on. Yes, Kerry, some days are better than others, and I agree with you on that one. That I have some days where I think, "Wow, that was a really great day," and the reason it was a really great day, I believe, is because I have kept control of those negative thoughts. I've really enjoyed the process. I found, for example, going down to go and have a look at the big rigs was a pretty interesting day in terms of emotions and excitement and disappointment, and it had a bit of everything in it. And so, but what I kept doing is trying to find things to laugh about, things to enjoy, things to ooh and ah about. I find that really helps my attitude when I do that. Okay, so here we go with the first one. I create what I think about, and I think about good things. I create what I think about, and I think about good things. Now, I was so aware that this is necessary for me as I am downsizing. Because as you can imagine, I could concentrate on the fact that I have had to throw away so much of my life. I could concentrate on the fact that I still don't know where I'm going to go. And worse than that, I could concentrate on the fact I'm still not sure what sort of lifestyle. I'm pretty sure of what lifestyle I would like, but I'm not sure if that lifestyle has enough security in it for me. So, I'm still balancing all these balls in the air, and I have to keep reminding myself that that's okay. This is called do it at your speed, right? So I create what I think about, and I think about good things. So, what I keep saying to myself all day when I hear that voice in my head, I go, yes, but we are eliminating the things you don't want to do, and we are finding out what you do. Do you understand? So I turn it around with I hear you, I hear the negative, but here is why it's a positive. So, anybody got any feedback on that one? And so here's number two. And just be really in the moment with this. My world is beautiful. My world is beautiful. Now, today or any day, we could turn and tune into the news and think that my world isn't very beautiful at all. You could say, I'm really upset that we are taking children away from their mothers, and you could say, I as a Canadian, I could say, oh, I'm really upset that Canada's been insulted rather heavily. Or you could say, gosh, I hear that they just put on tariffs on China. That means a lot of goods will end up in retaliation. A lot of goods that we get from China will be going right up. And, for sure, um, things like aluminum is going to go up. So you say, that's not very beautiful, Sal. How can you say my world is beautiful? What the affirmation is about is to make sure that you realize that even though these things are going on, you still live in a beautiful world, and you still live in the top 5% of the world if you live in North America, and that you need to be more grateful for what you have rather than what's going on around you. And the trick about affirmations is to block out a lot of that negativity. So when I think about my world is beautiful, and it is, as I like to say, because I heard that from Benji one time, and it really stuck with me, which is, I have first world problems. There are people in the third world that are not in a position to sell a house and downsize completely. Hi, Erin. Good to see you. So my world is beautiful because I have that sort of a problem, right? And for that I should be grateful. And I say should. For that I am grateful. And so I think about it. And I make sure that whenever I catch myself thinking, "Oh gosh, I don't know what to do, da, 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 da," or "I really don't like what's going on in the world," that I say, "Yes, but your world is beautiful. The world around you is beautiful. You choose to make it a beautiful world." And I know that both Carrie and Erin know about this. Karen, you see, I got the two mixed up into one person. Uh, but you know that both of you know that part of that is actually controlling a lot of the negativity that comes into you, because there is so much. I was saying earlier, Erin, that we have. Let me just get the figure right again. We have between 45,000 and 51,000 thoughts a day, of which 80% are negative on average. So that's pretty amazing. And I keep thinking, Erin, that, you're a really big example of that as well. That you could have a lot to be negative about, but most of the time you do a really good job of controlling that and staying grateful for what you do have. And I believe that is part of the wonder of your attitude. And as you know, I've always been incredibly impressed with your attitude in the face of so much that I know it's not perfect and, and that nobody needs it to be, but you really do have a wonderful ability to have a great attitude. And I was thinking that, if I counted my happiness or the beauty in my life by numbers, I probably wouldn't be as happy. But I I really do try and process my happiness and the beauty in my life about the people and things that I have, sure. But I also do it the fact that I have freedom. That to me makes my life beautiful. I have the freedom to make decisions for myself. I have the freedom to decide now that I am retired what I want to do today. And it's really amazing for me how that time clock of mine has totally changed now that I'm retired. Right. So Kerry's saying that she chooses to see the positive because she knows life isn't always fair, but it could be a lot worse. Yes. And Linda's saying that she is constantly trying to turn her negatives into positives. And Linda, you'd have to do that to have got the changes in your life that you've got in the last year. Right? You literally have to be talking to yourself pretty severely. And whilst that sounds like hello, that sounds like I've lost my marbles a little bit. This is the conversation you have to have. I found that the way I gave up smoking was to turn around. You need a cigarette. No, I don't. I probably need a break. Thank you for that reminder. But I don't need a cigarette. I need to sit down and maybe, s- do something else for a little while. And it was amazing how that helped me stop smoking. I used the nicotine trigger as a warning that I needed to stop doing what I was doing for a little while. That's gorgeous. Linda's saying she thinks that number is a little low. Yeah. I love it, Linda. Okay. Oh, interesting. Erin, can I share that with the people? I think I understand it, but just let me know if I can share it with everybody, because that's all right. Why I'm waiting for Erin to give me some feedback. Oh, okay. She says I can. Thank you. All right. Erin's saying that she's just had a bit of news that says that she has to be in bed all the time right now. And she says it's really messing with her head. I'm not used to it anymore. So now she's lying in bed and overthinking everything. All right. So, Erin, how about be grateful for the fact that are having treatment, that things are going in the right direction. And if the price that you need to pay for a little while is to be bedridden for a while, that is okay. I am choosing to obey that instruction so that I have a better chance of healing. That's, Lauren was a great example of that. She's been in hospital for months now as well. And, you know, but the healing has really been incredible. She really was in a bad state when she went in. And so, there's part of me that goes, it's okay. This is just because I'm bedridden doesn't mean that I won't be able to get back into a chair again. I believe I'm correct in that, all right? I'm trying to deal in reality. The other thing, yeah, that's right. You've been back back in bed most of the time because of the pressure sores on your back. Right. So the question that I have is sometimes we need to be grateful for that because, you know, by being controlled, by having to be in bed and so forth, you probably got a better chance of that pressure sore to heal itself. How is it doing, by the way, Erin? So, for those of you capable of getting up and walking around, you understand um, a lot of people can't do that. So, be grateful that you can do that. Be grateful for what is around you because your life is beautiful if you want it to be, or it can be very negative if you let those negative thoughts just play in your mind. So the trick is, can you increase your negative thoughts, your positive thoughts, by changing the negative ones? If you could do that, you sort of even to 10% a day, right? It would change your life, make it a lot more enjoyable. So here is the next one, number 3. My speed is the right speed for me. What does that conjure up in your mind? My speed is the right speed for me. I think this is the first time in my life where I am doing something at my speed as opposed to pushing myself to get it done, to somebody else's schedule. Now, that isn't true of all my goals, but this huge goal, which I know will be very stressful, I am really doing everything I can to think everything out, properly, to be aware of all the pros and cons, and to just keep knowing that I don't have to make a decision today. At the moment, I am not pushed to make a decision. So Erin was saying it is, talking about her health, it is going really well, um, even out of her chair. But as soon as she gets back in her chair, then her body starts bruising again. And she needs to get the surgery done, but she can't get the surgery done until all her prednisone has, she's able to get off prednisone. So I understand that you're doing a great job, Erin, and keep up the good work. That's what I would say, is just keep reaffirming, that's what an affirmation is. Reaffirming, I am back in bed so that I can get healthy enough to get off prednisone. And just do everything you can to keep on that track and concentrate on that. Almost, Erin, if you can, and I'm pretty sure you probably do this anyway, is, have a little mantra that you say to yourself, which is, I am doing the right things so that I don't need any more prednisone, and then I can have my operation. Literally that you do the steps. I'm doing the right things because that in turn will help heal my body, and that in turn will get me off the prednisone, which means I can have the operation and get out of here. So, that is, if you can keep that affirmation going on a pretty regular basis, I'm sure that it will help. And my body is, working hard to create that for me. So here's the next one. And again, I'm going to read it. And your job is just to think about what does it conjure up in your mind? What is your immediate thought when you hear this? I choose to protect my mind by adding more positive thoughts to my day. I choose to protect my mind by adding more positive thoughts to my day. It's funny what that conjured up for me. Where my mind went was right. And between the two broadcasts, I actually have a 5-hour span, which means I could go painting because I've missed out on my painting this week with doing other things to do with downsizing. But it's just like, yeah, I've got a 5-hour window. I can do this, which means I could I could get out of, these clothes and get into painting clothes, get really dirty and have a good shower, get tidy again, and then put these clothes back on again, ready for the evening broadcast. Yes, Kerry's saying she's in a good place right now. She's on the right medication combination for her disorders, and she's got a job and a healthy relationship. I got a roof over my head, food to eat, healthy pet. Yep, it's absolutely important. Wow, and Erin's saying that some people say that she's overly positive. Yeah, isn't that amazing? And she said, maybe I am. And maybe I'm doing that to protect myself from all the negativity, right? All the negative things she could be thinking. Absolutely. But you are keeping yourself healthy by doing that. And by the way, every now and then, I'm sure you have a little pity party. And that would also be absolutely fine. Right? And understandable. I'm not saying be perfect. That's, as I've said many times to you, Erin, what I've always been fascinated with is how, people like yourself and Jody, and even Kerry, who has her own sort of health issues, when you look at it, that we all fight that demon every day, and the health issue is different for different people. And even I can think of so many healthy people that don't realize how sick they are. So I allow I allow negative thoughts into my mind to some degree, just so I can hear what's happening. What is really, and then I process it. Do any of you do that? I actually go, oh, that was interesting. Let me have a think about that. For example, I was really fascinated when I was doing the big rig research, how my mind was shifting on certain issues. I found it really interesting. You heard me say that it took me 6 attempts to re-edit, 6 re-edits to get that vlog to work. Amazing, really. But I kept saying there's got to be a reason for that. And so each time I listened very carefully to what I was hearing myself say, and I went, there's lesson here. And what I learned from doing that was, ok- obviously I need to rehear this to understand it. And I was listening to what was really important in my life. And I was quite surprised the things that were and the things that weren't. And when I get that video up, it'll be called Research on Big Rigs. When that video goes up, it's in, if you care to listen to it, to hear what is important in my life right now. And that really surprised me, how strong I was on what was important. So I choose to protect my mind by adding more positive thoughts to my day. That makes sense to all of you, I'm certain. Yeah, Linda's saying that she gives her thoughts a 5 minute. You are allowed a 5 minute rant. Then you have to go because I got to get on with my life. And my life isn't negative. I think it's wonderful, Linda, and it's a great way to do it. I literally am working very hard now to hear those things, as I said, to hear those things and really be aware of what I am. Everything has a reason for being there, is my reality. And so, therefore, I need to not ignore what the negatives are, but I need to work around it. I need to be aware of it and find out where the truth is of that, and for me, and then move on. Exactly, Linda. After that, move on. That is great. All right, take a deep breath and let's see how we do on the next one. I am capable of great things. I am capable of great things. I really wanted to take a moment to think through that one. And yes, I really do believe that. Yeah, Carrie definitely believes it. Good. She says, I am capable of great things. Wow. And listen to this. Linda is adding in here, even when they come home from work, she lets the men in her life have a 5-minute rant on any problems from the day. And then that's it. I'm not listening anymore. And they know that. Wow. Okay. So, this is your 5-minute rant time starting now. What do you want to rant about? Okay, good. And you know something, Linda? I think that's a very loving thing to do because when you let people rant, you're giving value to their thoughts, even if they're negative thoughts. I do believe that everybody deserves to have somebody listen to those thoughts. And then the fact that you go, okay, fine, that's 5 minutes. I'm now shutting down the doors here. That's called the boundary. That's the boundary. I don't want more than 5 minutes of negativity from you. So if you want to be negative, go and be negative, somewhere else. Don't do it here because that's all I can handle. And I think that is a very positive way. How many of you were brought up that way, though? I assure you that Jody and Lauren um, and Kerry as well every now and then, right? They really are great for me to have a little rant at, and I think having a little rant is quite healthy because if you can verbalize what's upsetting you, then um, you can also process it more quickly. And the important thing about these things is process it to the positive. So Linda's saying that her nan did that for her, right? Yes, you can have a little rant, but after that, let's get on with life in a positive way. Yeah, and we have so much to be for which we can be grateful, right? And so what great things do you have in your mind that you can be doing? Let's check in, see what you come up with. Yes, Kerry is saying she wasn't brought up that way, but she knows that every now and then it's quite healthy to rant. I mean, Erin knows that, Kerry knows that. I think I really do believe mental health wise, it is really an important part of keeping healthy. And it's not that you're being nasty. What you're doing is, upchucking all the negativity. And if you do that with safe people who are not going to buy into it, not take it on, people are just going to go, okay, fine, I understand that. Makes perfect sense to me why you'd be a little bit angry about that. Yeah. But, it's when, yes, I know you do. I know you rant to Erin and Ange. Yeah. And it's healthy. And I don't know about you, Kerry, but I actually start my thing with, okay, everybody, I need a rent. And then I don't start renting. I just wait until people reply to me and say, okay, I'm ready for the rent, because what I want them to do is to get in the right mind frame. They know that the attack is coming. And as you probably know, my language isn't quite as pretty when when I'm having a rant. And if I'm being honest, then that's you need to be aware that I'm about to probably get a bit heated here. So I like to give people a heads up. So you're capable of great things. Yeah, I believe I'm capable of great things. I really do believe in this whole downsizing process that I am cleaning up my life to enjoy the next phase. And I am capable of this move, and I am capable of finding a place that really suits my present lifestyle. And I do deserve to be out of debt, and I am working on how to work out how to adjust my spending habits so that I can do that without worry. Yeah, you could say that, Kerry. Kerry's saying that I use language unbecoming of a lady. Right. Unbecoming of anybody. Yes, I'm cleaning up my life, Linda, because that's what it feels like. And Linda, I don't know if you heard me say this, but it's really something that came out of my mouth and I went, oh, that's true. I was talking to my friend Patty, who's also my realtor, and she said to me, you'll be able to work out what, I know you've already thrown a lot of stuff out. And I said, oh, I could downsize again. I could do it another time if I need to. So when I actually move, I am sure I'll be throwing out even more stuff. But I don't know what I want to throw out until I find out where I'm going, if that makes sense. And so as I clean up my life, what I said was the interesting thing that I now know is whatever is already down in the garage, unless it's tools that belong in the garage, everything else that is in my garage, I don't really need in my life. Hi, Jody. Well, that's really kind of you. And we wish you lots of luck with the doctor. And we wish you a great weekend as well. You're going to hopefully enjoy the replay of this one, Jody. We're talking about affirmations and why they're important in our life. And I know that you know that, and I know that some of these will really hit home. And I'd be interested to hear some of your feedback when you work through this one later. I believe that this isn't a doctor's appointment for your health. This is a doctor's appointment to get some of the administrative done so that you can get some of the services you need, if I am correct on that one. So that is awesome. Just don't want to give people a scary thing about your health. Yes, I'm sure that you will. And Kerry took over your job for the day, so I'm very proud of her. Well, for this broadcast. Yeah, you're okay. Good. What shoes are you wearing, Jody? I don't know why. This is always of interest to me now. What did she put on her shoes today? Sending you a big hug. She put her slippers on. Good thing. It's very difficult when your feet have increased to that size. So well done. And I want you to really practice smiling at people today, Jody. All right. Even the ones that look at you a bit strangely, like, why is that lady? Why does she look like that? You just smile. I think it's so nice to be able to say, or if you hear somebody make a negative comment, which I'm sure you hear every now and then, just say, would you like to know why? And actually explain it. Use it as a learning moment. Because I think, children particularly are inclined to, tell it like it is, right? If they see somebody that looks, very big to them, they're going to say something about it 9 times out of 10. But I think if you could say, yeah, you're right. Do you want to know what happened? And explain to them that you got cancer and you survived. And that's an important thing for children to know, that cancer doesn't necessarily mean that it's, a death sentence. But unfortunately, this is what happened. Jody, you are so kind. Jody's making a donation. Thank you. And by the way, for those of you listening to this on the replay, if you want to make a donation for the work that we do, please go to DearMamaSal at DearMamaSal.com, sorry, DearMamaSal.com, and you'll find a PayPal donation button there. So thank you, Jody. I really appreciate that. And for those of you who don't know, when you hit the $sign on the feed here, that for those of you who are on the live feed, it'll allow you to use the little bar underneath to decide how much you would like to donate. So thank you very much, Jody. I appreciate that. So we are capable of great things, people. And that's what we need to concentrate on. I really am going to do everything I can to keep that mentality over the coming months. And this is the next one. Hi, Nada. Great to see you here. And Nada, I really appreciate all that you do to participate in the broadcasts. I know that you like to listen, and that is perfectly all right. So here's the next one I'd like you to think about and see if you can own it. I am a beacon of love to those around me. I am a beacon of love to those around me. And I don't know where your mind went, but I went, yeah, most of the time. But then, I think to myself, maybe sometimes when I don't sound like I'm a beacon of love, is the intent good? Or is that just an excuse? And I'm going to give some thought to that one. But every now and then I know I don't sound like a beacon of love. So I need a bit more work on that one. And what I'm aware of is when I am a beacon of love, I get an awful lot of love back. Kerry's saying she tries to be a beacon of love to those around her, but you don't think you're that good at Kerry, with all due respect, I've known you for a long days. I've known you for a long time. I don't think that those people that on the broadcast that you interact with would call you anything but a beacon of love. I mean, you have a few very amusing moments. Actually, it's funny, when I was doing the big rig research, you're going to see a thing in there where the guy said something about, if you've got a CPAC machine, which of course, I have, you need to have a battery that is totally dedicated to the CPAC machine in case of a power failure. And the most amazing thing was, I said, yeah, actually, I find that waking up choking to death, is inclined to bring my attention to the fact that there's been a power failure. Oh, yes, Nada, I clean forgot about the wedding. All right, so can I repeat that, Nada? Just so that I don't want to do that. So you learned a lot about yourself and you talked to people and opened up a bit. Wow. Did you give yourself a big pat on the back? Okay. She's saying the wedding went great, by the way. I had bad moments, good moments, very interesting, challenging moments, and it was a great experience. I am glad I went. Yes, Nada. You took control and you dealt with reality. There are going to be good moments and some bad moments in between. That's life has both. It's yin and yang. I totally, and thank you, Jody, for what you have to say about Kerry. I think Kerry knows that in her heart, that Kerry. That's why I sort of go, really, I wouldn't, for you to actually say that you don't think you do very well at it surprises me, because you're not normally somebody who says that sort of stuff. Now, I will tell you something that I found out Kerry. So before I make a call on that one, I was amazed to hear how my friend Patty introduced who I was to the guy about to try and show me certain fifth wheels and toy haulers. I literally sort of sat there and went, really? Because the way she introduces who I am, she said, she's an artist, she's a poet, she does this and she does that and she does that and she does that. And it is really interesting because I sort of went, huh. And I actually said to her, I would never introduce myself that way. Oh, she obviously mentioned YouTube and things like that. And then other work I'd done in my life to, from a charitable point of view. And I just said I would never describe myself that way. And that is what I've got to look at, because I think this point about I am a beacon of love to those around me and to myself. That's what I want to add. How many of you need to add that? I am a beacon of love to those around me and to myself. Yeah. Well, bless you, Nada. And Nada's saying that she kept thinking about me through the good times and the bad. All right. And as long as you know that I am not perfect. Bye-bye, Jody. Thank you for popping in, honey. So be a beacon of love to yourself so that you can be a better beacon of love to those around you. Huh? How about changing it that way? I am a beacon of love to myself, which automatically makes me a beacon of love to those around me. I found that for the longest time, I was very angry about my ex-husband, for example. And it kept me in a very stuck place for a long time. And then I had to remember I truly loved him at one time. And then I made the positive choice to remember that I did love him. And therefore I wished him all the happiness in the world, even if it wasn't with me. Do you understand my thing? And I used to say that whenever I started to get angry about what had happened, I say, but I loved you dearly and I would wish nothing but happiness and love in your life. So that to me set me free to a large extent. And, it was like I didn't have to like what happened or the way I was treated, but I could understand that I did love him and that he did deserve love and happiness in his life, even if it didn't come from me. Now, I added this one in because we get so much negativity. How many of you have been really triggered by some of the negativity that's really heavy on the news this week? I mean, you're going, wow, how much stuff is going on. We've got trade wars. We've got children being taken from their mothers while they are breastfeeding. We have got, all sorts of stuff going on in the news every day that's really could send you off on quite a little rant. And I keep saying this, all right? I do not let attack thoughts change my view of the world. So what happens is I can feel myself react and I go, I pray that this will be for the greater good. I pray that the greater good will prevail. Do you understand? So I feel myself get incensed and so angry about some of it. And then I go, wait, what if this actually turns out to be a good thing? So it's not that I necessarily think it will, but I make sure I give it a possibility. What if it turns out to be a good thing? What if all that is bad at the moment creates a good thing as a result? And, I think that's the only way that I can not let those attack thoughts change my view of the world. I like to believe that, the world is capable of handling this. I would like to believe that there are people smart enough. But I don't forget history either. I don't forget history of how, one person who was a megalomaniac and wanted that much power, um, how much damage they did. But it didn't mean that all people were bad people. It meant that some people let him get away with it. And, that is beyond my control. And so my job is to make my life and the life of those around me, as peaceful as I can within that. It doesn't mean that I have to agree with it, but it's happening, and therefore I need to not let those attack thoughts. And how many of you can hear the propaganda going on? And you're going, wow, do people actually believe this? And you're going, yes, some people do. And so what will happen is we will need a huge groundswell to be able to counteract it. And I really do like to believe that there is that much love in the world and that some people are capable you know, of knowing this. So, but even so, uh, I try not to let it change my view of the world. It's just my view of, one or two people. And occasionally I have to rent. And so here is the next one. Hi, how you doing, Sakura? Good to see you. We're doing affirmations today, Sakura. So take a deep breath, and here is the next one. And just be aware what comes up in your mind. The future is great for me. The future is great for me. I am sure that some of you understand that in my life, it is very easy for me to say, oh gosh, I'm going to, lose so much by downsizing. Oh gosh, I'm probably going to have to live so far away from my family and friends. Oh gosh, and I could go on for a long time, but then I go, but the future is great for me. This is a necessary change in my life, or else it wouldn't be happening. This is a wonderful opportunity for me to get rid of a lot of my stuff. This is, cleaning up my life, as I said earlier. So the future is great for me. And how many of you can see that in your life? Yes, and that is saying maybe you'll meet some wonderful people and learn lessons. Oh, I'm sure I learn lessons every day. I'm a lifelong learner, but you never know. Maybe I can help some people as well, Nada. It's another group, another circle of people. And so, I also think about, I don't know who I'm going to meet, but maybe I can help some. And maybe I can, do things like have art classes and teach people to do what I do. So I think all those things are very exciting if I want them to be. So it's not all about loss. It is about, I can see my life changing. Yes, and Sakura is saying that as well, right? She's mostly thinking it will be so much better and easier to have less stuff, easier to clean. I've really found that, without a doubt, Sakura. And way more free time from cleaning. Oh, yes, send me the picture, Sakura. I always like to see somebody else's successes. Now, the trick, Sakura, that they tell me, um, is that take any surface, whether it is a tabletop or a shelf or whatever, and aim to only have one thing on it. Or, I mean, that's what I am doing in order to show it. But, even if you say I am restricted to only putting three things on anything, You'll be amazed how you start putting things away. I am actually shocked. I've got to tell you that I am shocked at myself. I I realize that I am keeping the house tidy. Now, that's a big shock for me. I didn't think I was capable of it, but I am. It's quite surprising. And I feel quite uncomfortable now when I don't leave a room tidy. So this process has already been part of a big learning thing for me. Now, I could go outside and tell you, gosh, the outside of my house is a total mess at the moment, and it is. But I'm not worried about that because I will bring somebody in when I'm ready to list. I'm going to bring somebody in, and their job is totally clean up that garden one time. All right. Power wash the outside of the house and make it look pretty to sell. Yeah, that's a very good point, Sakura. I graduated from clutter blindness. Yeah, I'm amazed how many things I was capable of walking over. Do any of you relate to that? It was just like, really? Or that famous, well, I don't know where to put it, so it goes in the back room. Amazing. But so I'm not worried about the outside. I'm bringing in professionals to do that. And do you understand? I could spend hours and hours out there trying to tidy up and weed and do this, that, and the other. I am emotionally attached to my garden. So I need to bring in a crew of people who have no emotional attachment to my garden. I need them to roll their eyes and go, how can anybody let a garden go like this? I don't care. Just tidy it up. I want to sell the house. You see, once I'm at that stage, that makes so much sense. All right. Now, I do need to go out there and do a couple of things because it's beginning to look like I don't care about the house, which is not true. So I need some fresh air. See, that's how I'm turning it around. I need some fresh air, and that counts if I go out and do some work on the garden. So, how many of you can believe that the future is great for me? Nada, I am absolutely amazed how unattached I am getting to certain things. But, the good news is you'll be amazed how attached I am to some very strange things. How many of you know I could not get rid of my bugle if I tried? Oh, what a beautiful quote. Thank you, Nada. She says, yes, the future is so bright, you need shades. But do you believe that for yourself, Nada? And so what I'm saying to you is all the things you wish for other people, make sure you grant it to yourself first. My future is great for me. If you have that up on your mirror, all right, and read that every day. And I must admit that whenever I get into a funk, and you know that I do, I really do start making sure I feed affirmations in. Because as I was saying right at the beginning, right, we have between 45,000 and 52,000 negative thoughts an hour. you know, we need to do a lot of counteracting of those thoughts. Okay, so Nada's saying she wants to do 75%. Right. So let's work on just adding the little rider on everything. Yes, it is sad, but da 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 da. All right. So what you're doing is, or yes, it is difficult, and I know I'm more than capable of coping with it. Yes, the house is starting to echo, but it is so much easier to clean. All right. So it's like, think about this. It's what you add on to it that makes such a difference. Wow, Nada. I'm not going to repeat that one unless you tell me to, but I want to tell you something that is amazing. And by the way, I really would challenge you, because it is a challenge, to actually tell the truth. You know, I think the difficult thing is to tell people what you think they want to hear, or tell them the things you want them to hear that make you look good. I can remember going, yeah. So that is saying that she's working on this future is great for her. She's actually booked in a psychologist appointment, and to open up that Pandora's box of her youth. And she wants to heal and she wants to be happy. And I'm meeting great guys who deserve me to have trust. Yes. Wow. Sakura, can I repeat that? Because it's wonderful. You're sick and tired of being sick and tired, Nada. I totally understand that. I remember making that decision as well. Okay, so Sakura said, and she's just given me permission, last week, her father-in-law worked with me about staying present instead of being in the past and the future, breathing and accepting myself as God sees me. Ah, that is wonderful. Well, yeah, group hug to everybody. You see, we're all human beings. We have good days and bad days, but the good news is we can do this together and we can gain strength from one another. A mindfulness present, yes. I have to work hard at being in the present sometimes, right? I just really do think about, oh gosh, this was how my life was. And now look at it and I go, wow, but you're still alive. And a lot of people are not. And you are still free, and a lot of people are not. So be happy. You have so much for which you can be grateful. And so as we work on this one, perhaps one of the most important one is an affirmation that some of you may want to put up for yourself, which is breathe. All is well in my world. Breathe. All is well in my world. And how many of you found that this breathing is an amazing thing when you start to go into anxiety? Just take the time to breathe. And hopefully now you will add that affirmation. Just breathe, because all is well in my world. It was really interesting to me to find out that when I was in constant um, cycle of depression, and I'd fight my way out, and then I get back in depression and I fight my way out. But the one thing I noticed was my rate of breathing. And I noticed that when I'm in anxiety mode, I breathe from about here. That's what it feels like. You know, so I'm literally creating this hyperventilation thing. What I found, strangely enough, that getting on the CPAP machine where it's pushing air into you, it actually helps you breathe properly, because the air, you're forcing way more air into your system, which has lots of benefits, right? It calms you down, which helps you sleep more quickly, and then once you're asleep, it really ramps up to much more air. And so, although I didn't want to spend the money on a CPAP machine, I have to tell you that breathe equals all is well in my world. Do you understand that for me, being able to breathe at night has changed my world? Yes, and one of the things Sakura is saying, breathe from your stomach, making sure your tummy goes up and down in breathing in and breathing out. Okay, so one of the things, if you want to find out whether you are actually breathing from your stomach, is put your hands on your stomach and actually, breathe and force your stomach out. And then as you exhale, force your stomach to release. That's what it feels like. It's not actually what's happening, because where it's happening is in your chest. But as you relax, your stomach will go out. How many of you, when you do turn sideways, pull your stomach in? All right. If you're looking in the mirror and you go, "Oh yeah, I'm fine," but you see, breathe. It's okay to let that go. The truth will not hurt you. And that's a good idea. If you're lying in bed, and put a book on your tummy and see if you can breathe so that the book rises up and down. That's a great idea. So just a reminder, everybody, to breathe. If you do, you will be able to absolutely say, all is well in my world. Your ability to cope with stress, your ability to have courage, your ability to control your demons will be so much better if you remember to breathe and not give in to the hyperventilation. And so number 10 on my list is, I am calm. I am strong. I am calm. I am strong. And I wonder if any of you have found out that in being calm, slowing things down actually turns into better decisions, better everything. And in that is your strength. By being calm, you can hear everybody going, blah, 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 and then you need to, blah, 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 and then you, blah, 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 and you go, yeah, you're so right. Thank you for your input. You see, that's all it is. All that stuff that people are saying is just input. You are in charge of your life, and you do what you choose to do, not what other people tell you to do. You are not a child. You have the right to be free, right? You are an adult. And so some of us need to actually make sure that we have time to be calm. How many of you meditate? Do any of you meditate? Some of you pray, and that is your moment of calm. Some of you go out into nature, and that is your time for calm. But I'm pretty sure that however you find your calm, you feel much better when you've done it. I actually find my calm is when I go and paint. And one of the things that I am planning for my future is I want to make sure that I have, maybe I'm going to take the boombox into my art studio and then actually play affirmations while I am relaxing and enjoying the paint. One of the great things I find when I am in the studio is every now and then I'll catch myself saying, yeah, but people don't like these sort of colors, da, da, da. And I go, I don't really care. I am not painting for other people. I do this work for me, for my peace of mind, for my enjoyment. Hi, pacifist, welcome. So I am calm, and therefore I am strong. How many of you understand why I'm changing that wording? Because if you are calm, you will be strong. And so what I'd like us all to do is to work on our own affirmations. Now, if any of you would like this list of affirmations that I read today, just let me know, and I will send you the what do you call it? The printout, if you like, of the slides that I did for this. But I just want to go through them one more time. And what I want to know is, do you think differently on each one? All right. As opposed to your initial thought, excuse me, this time as I do it, and as I read them again, do you have a different thought? And that's what I want you to experience. I create what I think about, and I think positive thoughts. I create what I think about. I'm just adding that in as we change these. The next one, my world is beautiful. My world is beautiful. The third one, my speed is the right speed for me. And by the way, on that one, I really would encourage you to remember that for other people, their speed is the right speed for them. So when you're frustrated with anybody because they're not getting it, or why don't they, da 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 da, you just need to go, it's okay. Their speed is the right speed for them. My neighbor is knocking nails into a wall, I think. All right, so, and the next one. I choose to protect my mind by adding more positive thoughts to my day. I choose to protect my mind by adding more positive thoughts to my day. As we know, only 20% of our thoughts are positive. So the more we do to add those positive thoughts, the better our life will become. I do not let attack thoughts change my view of the world. I got to work hard on this one. I do not let attack thoughts change my view of the world. The future is great for me. The future is great for me. Breathe. All is well in my world. Breathe. All is well in my world. I am calm. Therefore, I am strong. I am calm. Therefore, I am strong. How does that feel, people? Now, I was wondering if any of you would like me to take that reading of the 10 that I chose to use and put them in a special little, edit out just those 10. And so that I can put them into just one little video. Would any of you appreciate that? But what I'm going to do is suggest that, write to me at DearMamaSal@gmail.com, and I will send you either the written of it or I'll do an edit of just that section. And I will edit out my personal views that were in the middle of that. You see, what if you listen to just those 10 things every day? Do you think it would change your life a little bit? Hi, Jonas. How many of you can feel that I just want to check if my heart rate has changed in actually doing that. Let me just see what my heart rate comes up at. All right, my heart rate is at 65. Now, I gave you 2 things today. One is to bring your heart rate down, and the other is to increase your heart rate. It was approximately 40 minutes in. Wow, thank you. Kerry, could you take a note of that for me? Thanks very much, Nada. I appreciate that. You're making lunch. Did you see what I don't know, did any of you see my Instagram photo yesterday? You just checked into a park. She's off camping again. Pat, I had great fun. I went down and researched some big rigs, and that video will be coming up very soon. I've got it edited and everything. I just need to release one more before it, and then I will do the big rig one. I will release that one. So I want to keep them in sequence. So best of luck. Have fun. And did you bring your sewing with you, Pat? Yeah, wonderful. How many of you are on the trip this time? Of course, she took her sewing with her. And what are you sewing? Are you're doing quilts? And the wine. That's called glamping. Yeah. You got 6 children with her. Wow, how can that be peaceful? But it can be peaceful if your joy is to see them enjoy themselves. And Patricia, just so you know, I took 6 children camping with me once in a 24-foot trailer that had an outside screened area, and that's when I had all the children. And we were 5 hours away from civilization. We were way out boondocking. And just so that you know, somewhere or another on the way down there, we caught a stomach bug. And if you want to know what isn't glamping, it is 8 people with stomach flu. But the interesting thing was that I learned how to wash clothes in the sea. And I learned that we can survive this. We just have to do things a bit differently. So, oh, that is awesome, Pat. Well, I think the greatest gift that we have is each other. And I really want to thank you guys because I must say that talking through this journey that I'm going through certainly has helped me. And Pat, it was so funny when I went and did the big rig thing. One of the things I noticed was that Nana wrote to me. Nana always trying to protect me and in her own way, wonderful. And she basically going, "Were you thinking that the Jeep was going to pull that?" And I'm going, "No, I know my Jeep's not going to pull that." But I heard it as such an act of love, like we better warn her that it's not going to pull it. We have been through a lot together, haven't we, all of us? And but the thing is that that's wonderful. And I keep thinking about the affirmations. And how many times when I think I need to pull the plug on Dear Mama Sal, I go, no, this is not about numbers. This is about people. And if one broadcast helps one person, why would you not do it? And then, and it's interesting how I have to just bring myself back into reality on that one. Did you do this for numbers? No, I did it to help people. Well, then you continue to do it because from my experience, I never know what thing I said that had impact on people. So maybe I can ask you that so we can get an idea of what was it that I said or you heard in the broadcasts in your life that made you stop and think, wow, wait a minute. I want to do this differently. And I find it fascinating to hear the little things because I always remember the guy that taught me if you take your bad things and make them work for you, you will change your life. And that I always will remember that. It was such a simple thing that he said. Or that line in the one movie that said, you don't make omelets by not cracking eggs. All right, that you need to crack eggs to be able to make an omelet, right? You have to go through that exercise. You can't make omelets without cracking eggs. So, what affirmations and what things have you heard in your life that made a difference? Because I think sometimes when we share what our own affirmations are, I am amazed how many young people over the years have come back to me and said, Sal, that line that you said, which is fake it till you make it, really helped me. That I realized I didn't have to know it all to start with. I could just fake it a little bit. And then I would learn. I had to trust, right, that I would learn. And if you just go through the action, even if you're not feeling very positive, if you ask yourself, what would a positive person do right now? Well, they'd get off their butt and go and do something. When you think like that, you go, yeah, well, why don't I do that? It's amazing how much better you will feel. And Pat, I'd like you to tell Bill that I kept, as I was doing the big rig walkthrough, I want to tell you that I was amazed how much research I had done. Nada, this was under that heading. This is a subset of that exact heading because you had asked for that once before. And you cannot build self confidence or be self loving if you don't start with affirmations. Makes sense? That is what it's all about. Self confidence is being able I know, honey, but I do hear you, and I do bring that to the table. If you look at what I've been doing recently, how much of it has been about that? And you didn't even see it? I will keep doing more because I know that you need more. Pat, I just need you to know that you and Bill actually were with me when I was doing that. And can you tell Bill from me? I don't know if you saw that, but one of the interesting things I found trying to find somewhere in Canada or where I live is two things. Number one, um, they profile you for the age of your rig, and number two, although I want the toy hauler because I can paint in it, very few sites are big enough to take a big toy hauler and they won't let you put the back down because it takes up too much space. Mm. And I also found out to my horror they don't want a side one either because it takes up too much space. So when I found that out, it sort of made me look at things a little differently. I didn't know that either. So that's why I've been doing the research, and because I want to make sure that my viewers understand that it's not, I'm not saying that you can't find a place where you can do it. I'm not saying that you can't get into any campsites if you've got an older trailer. It's just that it's interesting how many places that has become reality in, and that they won't let you stay for more than 6 months. Now, the video I'm going to put up later today is about some places I went. I went to see a place in the States that is really beautiful, and they've done some really creative things with trailers. And so I thought you guys would probably like to see that, where where they sort of allow you to put your trailer there and add a shed. Yeah, a seasonal campsite that you can save the spot all year round. Yes, and that's what you're going to see. I looked at, for example, one in the States, and you're going to see that one. But two things. Number one is to see what is possible, but then also, as I said, be very aware. All right, no problem, Pat. Have fun sewing and enjoy it. I'm amazed that if you've just got to a campsite that you're actually here. Big hugs. Jody is just at the doctor. That's why she's not with us today. But she's fine. She's just doing admin stuff, just so that you know. All right, everybody. I just wondered how you all feel for listening to this broadcast. Do you feel more relaxed? Do you feel more aware? Carrie's saying that it's taken her a long time to love herself, but she does finally. And I think it's beautiful. Good. So Ned is saying she feels good, inspired, and relaxed. So what did you find inspiring? I made myself I made myself pavlova this weekend. I mean, this yesterday. I don't know if any of you, um, I don't know if any of you have done that, but I literally took meringues and whipped topping and strawberries, and I took a meringue, I put whipped topping on the top and half a strawberry, and the voice in my head's going, "That is not very healthy," and I'm going, "I deserve this. I deserve this." And I thoroughly enjoyed them. and I am probably going to finish off the box of meringues today because it's okay. And I even managed to stay under my I even managed to stay under my calories. I believe I did anyway, by even having those, and they were so good. And they certainly were not on anybody's healthy eating list, but oh, they were so good. And I find now, I don't know if any of you can relate to this, but I notice that when I go to a restaurant and they say, "Do you want fries like that?" I just go, "Have you seen my body?" Yes, of course I want fries like that. It's like you don't get a body like this without fries, sir. And so there's part of me that goes, live a little, right? Um, I am aware that I will pay the price. But what I did as well is I had a burger when I was out. I had a burger and I didn't eat all the bun. I just had half a bun. I mean, yeah, one half of it. I, I instead of a meal of one time, I had a cup of soup. And what I did was I was in a food court. We were quickly on our way back, but we wanted to just waste a bit of time so the border would clear. And I didn't want a full meal, so I ordered a cup of soup, and then I walked over to where Subway was, and I said, "How much could I get a bun? Just the bun. Don't want anything in it." It cost me $1 for the bun. What a pleasure! And I went back and had this beautiful cup of clam chowder. It was wonderful, and a bun, and I dunked it like a kid, and I loved it. And so, to me, it's about we can do this. We can be living our lives happily. It doesn't mean we have to restrict everything. It doesn't mean we constantly have to be under stress. We are the pilots, if you like, of our own journey. And how fast we run the engine of our lives is our choice to a large extent. And I just want you all to feel the difference in just slowing things down. Because I want to tell you, I have really noticed it in the last couple of months as I've been downsizing. Not forcing myself to do it all within a month, not forcing myself to do, I've got to get this all finished by Friday. I used to be such a goal-oriented person. And now I'm going, Sal, it's okay. Just do something. Something is another step in the right direction. You don't have to spend all day at it. Just do something. And do you understand my whole journey into the States for that day, to go and look at some stuff, both campsites and big rigs? That was a downsizing day. Can I live like this? Nada said she sold some items. How did you sell them? You feel refreshed to know that what you're doing is right. Yeah, can you feel that in your soul, Sakura, that, that there was just a little bit too much stuff? I l really could feel that. I still can feel it. And there is this fear of letting things go. How many T-shirts do I need in my life? You know? Oh, 24-hour bidding. And then how do you sort out the postage and everything, or do they come and get it? Now, has anybody else tried the Facebook 24-hour bidding? I've never heard. Yeah, I think I'd heard of it, Sakura, but I've never really looked at it. So thank you, Nada. I will definitely have a look at that. Interesting. So I actually didn't do that with my stuff. I didn't want that time. I just wanted it gone. Wow, Ireland, that is amazing. Well done. Yeah. So just, and it doesn't matter, it's like, yes, I will, depending on where I move to. See, that's why I'm not ready for that yet. But wherever I move to, I will make those decisions as to, do I want to just give this away or do I want to donate it? We've got an awful lot of people because I live in a country that accepts a lot of immigration. So I know there are an awful lot of people who move here and have nothing. And so part of me goes, I think I probably would donate quite a lot of my stuff. You know, if I had to downsize bookcases and units and stuff like that, I probably would just get them to bring their truck over and donate to them so that my stuff could be somebody else's stuff. Because, it's amazing how much a bookcase costs today. It's amazing how much everything costs today. And so, yeah, I totally understand that that is a good idea. And Nada, I want you to be so proud of yourself. I hope you are. Sakura, I've seen the incredible hard work that you have done, to try and clean up your life. And it inspires me because I look at what you've done and go, wow, look at what she managed to do. It's awesome. But the good news is, Sakura, just so you know, I'm nearly ready for the house tour. You know what I mean? My bathroom is clean. My bedroom is just about. My living room is. My dining room is. My kitchen is. Now I just have my art studio and my craft room. Yeah, and I'm pretty certain, Sakura, you never came onto the broadcast thinking that you were going to inspire us. But it's funny, and I'm certain that some of the viewers who've been around a long time, you really made an impact on us that day that you told us the story about building newspaper blocks and using them as soundproofing. For some reason, whenever I think about you, I can see these bricks of newspaper, compressed newspaper, and all I could think about was, gosh, the smell must have been horrific. But do you see, Sakura, that in learning from us, we have also learned from you? You do understand that, right? You did not have to be perfect to be able to inspire us. You took the risk of moving countries and gained a father-in-law who understands you, right? So I think about that when I think about downsizing, and I'm going, wow, I remember when I did what you did, and I downsized my life completely and moved to another country with a few suitcases, and how terrifying that was to start all over again. And yet it's amazing how much I managed to accumulate in 30 years, Sakura, and hang on to. Like, I can see why I hung on to that. I didn't want to lose it all again. You never know when I might need this. Well, hello. It's time to let it go again. And so I definitely just as I don't know who was said that about it makes it so much easier to dust. I want to tell you, I am amazed how quickly I can dust my bedroom. Shump, 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 done. It's just like this used to take me hours. Or in my living room. So yeah, and I'm definitely a lot stronger on everything has a place, and I need to put it back in its place. Oh, by the way, tip for the day for those of you who might want it. Are you always looking for things to do with toilet rolls? Because we know they're great to put them vertically and put little things in makeup drawer type things, brushes and stuff. But a new thing I found is they are really useful for, um, I've got them now in my cutlery drawer, and I've got a whole lot of straws in one and things like bamboo sticks and chopsticks in another. Can you imagine that? So they're like this, and I'm just putting in chopsticks and bamboo sticks in one, and it's great because if you want to see underneath there, you just move the toilet roll. I was actually quite surprised how well that works. It was just like, why didn't I think of this years ago? There's your tip for the day. So your assignment for the week is to please make some affirmations for yourself. And if you, as I said, if you would like copies of these, just let me know. Yes, Sakura, I see. Fair exchange, no robbery. So if any of you have any, if you're busy working on affirmations and you find one that you think is important to the group, feel free to send it to me. And how many of you would like to have more of them on Facebook? When I do my Facebook stuff. I won't necessarily put them all up, but certainly, bear with me. And I definitely would like to start working on more of these on our broadcasts, trying to find a couple for every broadcast. Um, Question, Nada, are you still there? I can't see unless I look. No. Okay. So I'm going to let you all know that this has been an interesting broadcast for me to do, and I've enjoyed doing it. It certainly touched my soul, and I could feel my whole vibration changing as I did this broadcast. So this is absolutely awesome to do. I want to send you all a big hug and remind you, please, to look after one another, but most of all, look after yourself and to make sure that you combat your negative thoughts, the ones that you recognize, with positives. The thing is that we will never be able to counter them all because we're not aware of so many of them. So again, as Sakura was saying earlier, the thing to be really mindful of is what you are thinking. Actually be aware of what you are thinking. And thereby you will have stuff to work on. I need to change that thinking over. I choose to change that thinking. And, maybe keep a day timer, a journal of some sort, and work on those. Don't ignore negative feelings because negatives sometimes are there to remind you of stuff, but then turn it around and be grateful. All right, everybody, this is Dear Mama Sal, and I hope you enjoyed the broadcast. I am very grateful for all that shared it with me. We certainly got some interesting perspective in here. I will be back as usual at 7 Pacific time On this is Friday, so we do 3 podcasts a week. For those of you who don't know, we do a noon Pacific time broadcast. We do a 7 p.m. Pacific time broadcast, and another one at 3:30 on a Sunday. This is Dear Mama Sal saying thank you for being here. Make your life more enjoyable by having strong affirmations and use them every day. This is Dear Mama Sal saying bye bye for now.